Hopefully this setup works. Okay. Get all comfortable. All right, guys. Wait. I forgot how to do this. All right. 3, 2, 1. Guys, welcome back to the Only Up podcast about all things, anything. And today it's just me, your host, Sri J. Chatterjee. And I feel like there's a few things to address before we start. There's no table. We're on the couch. I've got this whole casting couch set up. And you're wondering about the floral patterns. That was my mom. My mom did. She basically gave me this couch, but she said I couldn't get rid of these floral sheet covers on them. I don't know. It's so I'm already about to go on a tangent, but it's like, I feel like, I don't know if this is just Indian parents, but like, you know, we plastic wrap stuff like couches, chairs, or like we put sheets over it. So we never we don't make the actual thing dirty or whatever, but then we never actually get to use like the couch's like actual value, like the actual cushioning, like what it was made to do. Like it's always, and no matter how torn up this sheet or this plastic wrap gets, like they'll still keep it on. Is that just a me thing? I think it might just be a me thing. But we're here today. I feel like we haven't had one of these catch-up sessions in a while, where it's just been one-on-one, real intimate, I guess. And yeah, and if you're on YouTube, this video will be up on YouTube. It'll be really weird, just me talking to a camera with a camera just rolling on me. But yeah, that's how it is right now. This will be the first one-on-one podcast, or like one where it's just me on the YouTube channel, on the Only Up YouTube channel. But if you're here on YouTube and you don't want to see my face, you can also look at it on Spotify. So just want to address a few things before we start getting to the meat of this podcast. I've got a blanket because Melbourne winter is a little brutal right now, and I don't want to turn the heater in case it messes up the sound, so I'm all snugged up, but I'm a little bit comfortable, so I don't mind it. But yeah, so I'm talking about, if you guys have been following me, the YouTube has been happening. I've been doing this weight loss series, and everyone's been very, very supportive. I've done climbing, and by the time this is out, tomorrow will be me attempting the One Punch Man challenge, and I'm currently in the process of filming today's one. I've had a few setbacks because university started this week, and I've got a lot of very important things this week that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about, but it's a whole juggling act, and yeah, I'm getting through it, but it's all manageable, so that's all. But if you guys have been liking the YouTube series, let me know. I would be down to answer a lot of the questions from the YouTube series on here. I feel like this is the perfect place to do it. But other than that, check out the YouTube, check out Spotify. Shameless plugs already. Yeah, but let's talk about mistakes I've made. I think I'm going to title this one, I've Made Mistakes. And the point is, these are the mistakes that I have done through 18 to 22 years old, a bit before 18 as well, but it's just mistakes that I have been through and you guys can learn from, because you learn from your mistakes. And I'm a big advocate for reading all these self-help books, all that type of stuff, but I do feel like the knowledge, it's a good friend of mine, his name's Stanley Ching. He does a podcast called Safety Last. It's very, very good, very philosophical, very like in depth. And if I've actually featured on this podcast, I regret it because I sound like a nervous wreck. But that's not the mistake I'm talking about. What was I talking about? I went on the track. Stanley. Why did I mention Stanley? 1822 regrets. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know where I went with that, but I'm here to talk about my mistakes. Oh, I realized why I mentioned him, because he says, he brought up this point. It wasn't for him exactly. It was saying something like, there's a lot of these monks that are really like spiritually invested in these texts, but it's like, the warrior or someone that actually goes out and gets the knowledge, understands it through action is way better. So I feel like, you can read all these books all you want, but I feel like it takes action for the real lessons to sit in. I feel like what I've really used reading for now is just to understand myself better. Like I've used it to just like apply it to myself rather than learning a lot of new things and then stuff that, and then I'm more down to learn new things, always be a sponge. But it's just like, yeah, I've just been really applying it to myself, and I think I'll mention a lot of texts, a lot of books throughout this whole episode, but as reference. But the first mistake I want to talk about is one of my earliest mistakes. Not like it's like mid high school, like senior year ish. I was like 16 at the time. Actually, a bit before. I was 15. And if you guys, for my close friends that are listening, they know this story, or maybe they don't. I'm not sure. I didn't really talk about it that much, but I'm talking it on here for the world to listen to. But when I was 15, I was in love with basketball. Basketball was like my first love. I really loved the game, and a lot of people that knew me in high school knew me for either being like a huge NBA fan or like playing basketball. And I was by no means the best player in school or anything like that. I was nice for my size. I was good. I had a nice handle. I had a really good mid range and a questionable three. But yeah, I like to play. It was my first love, and I always associate that period of my life with just basketball. I really did love playing it. It was like my personal therapy. Like whenever I was sad, I'd go play basketball. Whenever I was angry, I'd go play basketball. Whenever I was just like yeah, just like whenever I just needed to vent, I'll just play basketball. I really loved it. When I was happy, I'd play basketball. So yeah, basketball was everything to me. I really liked it. I got a text. Probably should put my phone on silent. Let's double check that though. Okay. Yeah. So I would train all summer. Like I think like 3-4 months in like 2016. I would just play basketball every single day, and I was getting really good. I used to have a really bad like Larry Bird jump shot where you'd shoot it behind your head and it would look atrocious. And then I brought it to here, and it was like really nice. Flick of the wrist, all that type of stuff. But I trained, and then in year 10, when I was 16, all the guys were like, yo, let's form a team, let's play every Friday night. And those Friday night games are like, I really wish we could do that now, but half my basketball team have converted to volleyball, and I just don't have the volleyball in me to play. But besides that, yeah, so we got a bunch of guys together at 16, and we're just like, yo, let's we all love playing basketball. Let's compete every Friday night. And something like that, it was really good because you had something to look forward to at the end of every week. And it was on a Friday after school, before the weekend. Just good memories. And I remember the first game we played, I trained so much for this one game. And I was really, really keen to play, really excited. And I was so happy to just get on the court, put on my uniform, and just play with the guys. And yeah, so all that stuff's done, and we get to the first game of the season. I'm 16 years old, ready to play with all my guys, and yeah, we win the game. We win this basketball game. This first game we ever played this season. I'm 16 years old. We win the game, and I'm on the verge of tears. And you're asking, why are you on the verge of tears? And I'm pretty sure I cried after everyone left. I was sad for like 2 days. I was on the verge of tears because I didn't score a single point. At 16 years old, I am literally crying because I didn't score a point in a basketball game, which didn't matter. And looking back on it, it was just my weak mindset and stuff. But ever since that game, it really damn, I'm getting like PTSD thinking about it. It's like a real personal story, and you guys are just like, yo, it's just basketball. I don't know. For me back then, it was a little more than that. Like it was just like my hopes and dreams were literally crushed right in front of me, and yeah, I didn't score a single point. Started crying, and I remember for like the next 2 years, I never had the confidence to shoot a basketball in like those Friday night like tournament games. Like I'd always pass it off, even though I knew I was very much capable of shooting that mid-range, shooting a post fade, dribbling the ball. Like I had a really nice handle for a guy my size. And I think a lot of people can attest to that. And like, I'm a really good 1v1 player as well. Not just boast about me, but basically I was trying to say I was capable. I was a really technical player. And basically moral of the story is I had the capability, but I didn't because I've just felt not confident to do anything. I didn't trust in my ability. I didn't really it's just a weird feeling because it's like, I use this analogy a lot of the times in my podcast, and I think I've used it a bunch. Like, it's like you're in class, you know the answer to the question, but you don't put your hand up and get the praise and get the validation and get the confidence that you deserve, knowing that you know the answer, but you keep it all pent up. And I dealt with that feeling for like 2 years. Until my senior year where I just let it fly. And I love playing basketball now. I have the confidence to shoot it. I'm not afraid to make a mistake. It's really a lot easier to laugh it off and learn. But back then, I just remember I really like it was a bad thing, and a lot of my friends were just like, "Yo, shoot it." As a bigger guy, I wouldn't even cut in and play it. And I know this is all in basketball terminology, and you guys might be a little confused. Basically, I would be very stagnant, and I would almost be a liability to the team, and it just wasn't a good feeling. And I had to go every Friday night for something I look forward to ultimately regret it by the time the timer goes off. And it was just the shittiest feeling ever. And I recently read this book called Motivation Manifesto. It's by Brendan Burchard. Yes. It's basically it's like flight or flight, but when you approach a situation, or if you're dealing with a circumstance, you have two options. You can either ascend or averse, like ascension or aversion, and you can either take on that problem and ascend, make yourself better, or you can let that problem eat you up and like ruin you. Because that one game from 4 years ago had such a detrimental impact on my self-confidence and self-esteem with a lot of stuff. Because basically in my little chicken brain back then, it was like, yo, I put in so much work and none of it paid off. Where what I recently learned with like the One Punch Man video I'm doing, with the climbing video I just posted, it's like you never, 9 out of 10 times, unless you have beginner's luck, and especially if something that's hard, you wouldn't get things right on the first try. Like I've learned that, and I don't know, it's taken a lot for me to come to terms with it, but you never get things right on the first try, or something that's supposed to be hard and you get it right on the first try, it means it wasn't hard enough. It's either beginner's luck, and if you don't get it on the first try, it's good. It means it's a challenge. Like with this, I'll put the video up here. Like with the climbing, like I did not get that orange boulder where I had to leap from another boulder to another boulder the first try. This One Punch Man, I could not get the run on the first day. From a guy that's never ran before to getting a 10-kilometer run in one go, it was definitely possible, but I just didn't do it. It was hard. I gave it 5K the first time, not to spoil the first day of that video, but it's supposed to be hard. That's the whole point. You wouldn't get things right on the first try if it's a challenge. And that's the same thing with the basketball thing. I shouldn't have gone in expecting me to get like 20 points, because like my role models at the time were like different, like Kobe Bryant, Russell Westbrook, LeBron, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, like all those players, and they're like superstars. And a lot of things is like, especially from that basketball game, that whole basketball era, I would get mad. I'm like, why aren't I getting 20 points? I'll get like 8, 6, 10, if I'm lucky. And I'll just be like, why aren't I getting any points? This podcast is probably the most random podcast for you guys. And if you guys have tuned out already, that is fine. But this is just me talking about my problems and mistakes. And I hope it ages well. I really do. But I'll get really mad at myself. I'm like, why am I not getting like a lot of points? And I'm like, it's because I'm not taking enough shots. I'd get mad at myself. I'll take maybe 11 shots a game, and I'd only end up with like 8 points, right? Or maybe not 11. That's a really bad field goal percentage. But like, say I take like 6 shots a game, and I'm expecting like 20 points. You know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't happen. The max amount of points you can get, especially if it's all mid ranges, is like 12? Yeah, 12. And if they're all threes, it's 18. You will never hit 20. So it's just like, yeah, it's something that comes to terms with. You got to take the shots to get the points, I guess, if that can be transferred into any analogy possible. And then, maybe this is just me. Sometimes when I have cue cards and I present something, I don't read. Like, I don't stay on the script, which is a very bad habit to have. And I just don't do it. And yeah, whatever. I think I've got one that might be original, one mistake, and one like mantra that might be original to me. But then again, I feel like a lot of stuff I'm saying here is not really that original. It might just be like, yeah, it just might be rehearsed or like said differently. But one thing I want to say is this thing I've recently come up with, and I'm definitely getting better at. I'm not perfect. Same with the ascension and aversion. There are definitely times I averse. I try to ascend as much as possible, but life's unpredictable, right? But one thing I think hopefully this ages really well, because you guys are looking at me now like, bro, this freaking fat guy is like talking and he doesn't know anything. But trust me, you just gotta believe. I believe in myself to do what I can, and hopefully you guys can as well. And eventually, if we put those together, I eventually become somewhat of an inspiration to people, and that is the end goal. But there's a thing that I've coined, maybe, I don't know, it's stop saying fuck you to yourself, especially to the homie in the past. This is something I've come to terms with. It is like, it can be applied to literally anything. For example, let's do the weight loss thing, because that's the series I'm working on right now. And it's say you meal prep, you make food, you prep this whole healthy diet for yourself in these little meal boxes, and that's what I've been doing. And all those meals aren't very glamorous. They are nutritional. They benefit you financially. Like saves you from eating out, and it's like helps you hit your protein goals, your nutrition goals, and it's low in calories. It's overall just very, very healthy. But say you make those meals, the guy in the past made you not the guy in the past, literally yourself 2 days ago made you 6 meals for 3 days. So that being said, I'm doing a very bad job explaining this. The camera is just looking at a lens. It's very scary. So you made those meals for yourself and you eat a lot of them, but then there's a few of those days where you're just like, oh man, especially because I do university in the city. And if you know anything about Melbourne City, the food in the city is just so good, man. Like there's literally like 10 out of 10 food everywhere you walk. But if not to say fuck you to yourself in the past, you eat your own container food, and you really would say fuck you to yourself if you go out and eat and leave the container food in your bag and it eventually goes to waste. Because the way I look at it is like, if a really good friend of yours, the guy that knows you better than anyone else, basically a friend that knew what goal, what path you're on, makes you food. If anything, if someone made you a very delicious meal, or if someone just made you a meal, a friend or a family member makes you a delicious meal. Actually, I think family member doesn't count towards this because you don't look at it the same way, but maybe you do. I'm not sure. But say a friend took the time out of his day to make you a meal, and the person I would never, ever, ever waste a meal that a friend has taken the time out of their day to make me. Never. Like, that would be cruel. I would never do such a thing, especially if they took time out of their day to not only make it for me, think of me and deliver it to me, or like give it to me. And like, I would never, ever, even if the food is not that great, I will go out of my way and I'll make it look like Gordon Ramsay served it on a plate and gave it to me himself. Like, the time out of your day is enough for me to eat it. And if it's good, even better. You know what I mean? But when it comes to yourself, someone that knows you better than anyone else, someone that's trying to help you, someone that's trying to give you a head start, makes you this meal, and then when you're out, you just go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to eat outside and waste this meal. It's like you're literally saying fuck you to yourself that took the time out of their day to make that meal, that aligned it with your goals, and basically, or not even aligned it, or helped you save money, just made that meal, and then you know what you like, right? So you would make the food the way you would like it, but no, you're still saying fuck you to that guy. I don't know if it comes from a point of like respect, or it's just like, I don't know. That's how I'm looking at it now. I recently had this mental shift, especially one that I still mess up is I'll I'll plan my day like in a time block period, like, like how you plan your day. And sometimes if I don't follow it and if I go off track, if I procrastinate, maybe get a bit too carried away on the YouTube or Netflix, like it's like saying fuck you to the guy that's like setting me up for like success. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if this whole point, maybe this is the reason why this hasn't been coined, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But basically what you're saying is fuck you to the guy in the past. Fuck you to yourself that's setting you up for success, and you're just telling him, nah, I want this in the present moment. I want to do this in the present moment, even though the guy in the past helps you do this. I think I didn't read this recently. I'm kind of halfway through. I have yet to finish it. David Goggins' new book called, I think it's Never Finished. Never Finished. And he talks about this mental state. Say, maybe a lot of you guys have this, especially this meme where it's like, 12 o'clock at night or like 2 a.m. at night where you're just like, oh my God, I'm being a bum. I really need to change my life. But then when you're in the present moment and you're doing it, it's like, oh man, I really don't want to do this. But when you're in a clear mindset, it's like you would. It's like it's not a rational. Your rational thoughts tend to like not be as rational, if that makes any sense. But back to my point, stop saying fuck you to yourself. I think, yeah, it even goes with fitness. Like I've been doing these cardio incline walks that help me burn like 300 calories in like 33 to 40 minutes, and they're really good. But then each time I pig out, I basically wasted that time, Or say I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, but I procrastinate 3 of those hours. It makes those early hours worth nothing. You keep saying fuck you to yourself in the past. So it's all about building yourself and getting better every day. And I don't want to sound too self-helpy, because that is not where I want to like take this channel or do anything like that. Because I feel like a lot of it nowadays is getting really toxic and convoluted and like conceptual, where I just want to help people in the purest form instead of just like all this self-help. I don't want to be a guru or anything like that. I just want to like just tell people how it is. Hopefully be a walking inspiration. Not even hopefully, I will be a walking inspiration. And yeah, that is that. I went on a bit of a tangent, a little argument with myself, I guess. But yeah, and I think the biggest lie, the biggest mistake I make almost at least once a month or twice a month, a lot of times this year until January, I've read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, and my God, is that a book? I need to read it again. I've read it once, but oh, they're not here anymore. They're on that board. I think in my previous podcast you saw maybe a bunch of pages on my door. I think it was in the Josh Lowe podcast. You might be able to see it. But yeah, the best thing is, you could be great today, or you could be good today, but you choose tomorrow. Be good today. That one hits like a goddamn truck, because how many times do you say tomorrow, 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 tomorrow? And that I'm a victim of that too. And I probably do it at least more than like twice a week, like twice, 3 times a week, whether not even just be like, my diet might be even like my other goals, like my skincare. Like a lot of times, it takes like 5 minutes to do, but I'm too lazy to just put on like goddamn cleanser and moisturizer. Get what I'm saying? Like, you always say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or like, I'll clean up my room tomorrow. The worst one I do, this is personal, I don't know if this will apply to anyone else, would be like a Thursday. And I used to do this a lot. I'd be like, oh, I need a fresh start. Let me just start Monday. Oh, I need a fresh start. Let me just start at the first of the next month. Oh, I need a fresh start. Let me start next year. That self-negotiation is so toxic, and I've just been going through that recently, and it's just, all right. Those have been my main mistakes. There's a lot more, but a lot of them are a lot more personal, and I want to talk about them later, and hopefully it ages a lot well since then. I think the camera has changed a little bit. Don't know, something just looks off. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm very like in a good spot right now. I feel like everything is moving. Not even moving. I feel like I've lit the match, and I'm just gonna wait for the fire to like burn up right now, because I'm going to be posting on YouTube consistently. This is hopefully the second week consistently in a row the podcast is back, because I've been slacking so much, and I hate to be that guy that just gives update videos every single time. But yeah, these 1v1 podcasts are nice. I like doing these. Yeah, they feel good. I don't know if you guys like these 1v1 podcasts, because usually when I do the 1v1 podcast, they don't tend to do that well. But I feel like, say I get 50% less viewers on these 1v1 podcasts, but if that 50% less enjoys these, I'll do it for you guys. I don't mind. It's just, I'm like an open book. I really like to talk about how it is and just work on my voice, because if you guys have not known, I think I still have it. I have a really bad stutter, and my mumble goes crazy. Sometimes it sounds like a completely different language. That's why sometimes I really articulate my words and speak slowly like this. But other than that, yeah. Hopefully you guys learn from my mistakes, because those are pretty like normal mistakes, and it's like that's the way you just learn from him. And you can hear me talk about him all day, but sometimes you only learn once you go through it. But yeah. Um Hopefully you guys enjoy the One Punch Man challenge tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow after the day this comes out. And I don't know, I feel like I might get a lot of backlash on that, because spoiler for the challenge kinda is like, it's more like the Two Punch Man challenge instead of One Punch Man, because I'm a guy that's not the most fit guy in the world currently. I don't give it away, and because I feel like that's actually the actual spoiler. But yeah, I'm a heavy boy, and I'm not the most insanely fit guy in the world. But for me to attempt that challenge and do it the way I did it, I'm proud. The video didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, because I had to film a lot of it on my phone, and sometimes not the graphics, sound like a parent. Sometimes the video qualities didn't turn out that well. But with all that being said, hope you guys learned a lot from my mistakes. I think I'll do a little bit of a summary. With the basketball one, the lesson learned is ascend instead of a verse. Like, do not let that define you. Do not let one thing like ruin this thing, and that one thing has a dramatic effect on a lot of stuff. And it's okay if you don't get it right on the first try. You guys will see that being a very apparent theme on my channel for a lot of things. I'm doing these very hard challenges, and if I got it right in the first try, it wouldn't mean anything. But you shouldn't go in that mindset knowing that you're gonna mess up, because one thing that you also should know, you never regret trying your best. And that one hits, because every single time I go to the gym and I know I could have had 2 more in the tank, you feel that when you're in the shower at home. I don't know why, it's just this weird feeling. And don't lie to yourself, by the way, about that one. Second one was definitely stop saying fuck you to yourself. So your homie that has planned not your homie, yourself, your past self that has set you up for success, and you're basically telling him, bro, fuck you, I don't want to listen to you, even though you're me. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if you met yourself in the past and you didn't listen to what he said. You're like, yo, I literally told you what to do and you're not doing it. Like, bro, I'm setting you up for success and you're just like not listening to me. You know what I mean? It's like your future self is depending on you now. And that shit kind of hits, bro, I ain't gonna lie. And Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, at least the biggest banging quote is, you choose tomorrow instead of today, be good today. It's apparent. I'm a big victim of that. I've been a victim of that for a while, but it's acknowledging it first and then taking action. So that is what we need to do. With all that being said, thank you guys for listening. I really do appreciate the support, especially, dude, the Josh Lowe podcast is doing so well on YouTube, at least for me. I didn't expect a lot of people to tune in, because I took a huge break from the pod, and I'm happy I'm back doing it. And if this is out, it means I am chilling, I am doing it, I am back. But yeah. And Spotify, thank you guys for listening on Spotify. Make sure you leave a review, a like, all that type of stuff. And YouTube, check out your boy, help your homie out. Your boy is losing weight. He's making monumental change. You'll be a part of the process. You'll be watching me achieve greatness. And okay, that sounds okay. Let's not get a little carried away though. But I'm just trying to do something good. If you're gonna choose anything, choose to be good, and that's what I'm trying to do. And yeah, with all that being said, I feel like I said that like 5 times. I gotta change that up. But yeah, okay. Thank you guys for the support. I'm gonna leave it here. It's a wrap. Check out all my links. Check out all the socials, mental health stuff down in the description below. And guys, only up from here, and take care. Bye.